and welcome to my channel. My name is Elisa, and I say that because I have not posted a video to this channel since November 2018. So it has been over a year since I sat down and filmed. It has been over a year since I edited a video, uploaded a video. I basically have no idea what I'm doing. I think my other channel I uploaded in January of 2019, but I really don't think I have touched either of them in well over a year. So, welcome back. I'm gonna be super rusty and have no idea what I'm doing for a little bit, but that's fine. I am hoping that during this self-isolation period when I am stuck inside working from home as much as I can, that this will provide some sanity. A lot has changed over the year that since I've uploaded a video. I moved out of my parents' house. I had a full-time job the last time I uploaded it. I think I just started that full-time job, but yes, still have a full-time job, moved out, life is different. I'm currently at my parents' house because social distancing is hard and doing it together is a little bit easier. But I'm hoping that by uploading videos and encouraging myself to read, I will maintain some semblance of sanity during this uncertain time. But yeah, so the last video I uploaded to this channel was talking about how I was going to be reading the lowest rated books on my TBR. I looked it up on Goodreads and found the bottom 5, and I have since read 4 of those 5 books. Today I'm going to go over my thoughts on those 4 that I did read and try to restart this challenge. And while I'm sitting at home doing nothing, hopefully I'm reading some books people didn't like. So the first book I talked about in that video was Suicide Notes from Beautiful Girls by Lynn Weingarten. This, at the time, had something like a 3.4 on Goodreads. It now has a 3.46 rating on Goodreads, and I gave this book 2 stars. It's funny because it has been over a year since I've read all of these titles, but I do have very distinct memories of reading these books and the feelings that I had about these books. This book, my best friend Sydney had previously read, and she gave it, she gave it a 4-star rating. So while Sydney and I have very different tastes in books a lot of the times, we do have some overlap. This book was not one of those. This is about a girl whose friend dies apparently from suicide. It is said that she set herself on fire in a shed, and that's how she died, and the friend doesn't buy it. Her best friend was absolutely terrified of fire. She doesn't understand how that could have happened, and it kind of just takes off from there as she tries to figure out what happened to her friend. This book was ridiculous. It really was ridiculous, and I just remember every little plot twist just being like, how old are they really? They're teenagers. Like, they're doing this and they're okay, like, I wouldn't buy it if it was a group of adults, but I really don't buy it because it's a bunch of teenagers in this book. So yeah, 2 stars. Didn't find any of the characters relatable or interesting, really, other than the fact that they were doing ridiculous things and making ridiculous decisions. So yeah, 2 stars. So the next book I read for this video was The Nest by Cynthia Sweeney. It currently has a 3.42 rating on Goodreads, and I gave it 3 stars. This book was somewhat really boring. A lot of the ratings were like, this book is incredibly boring, nothing happens. And yeah, that's pretty true. It's basically just about a bunch of siblings in their like mid-30s, 40s, in that range. Some of them have families, some of them do not. And they're all waiting for their last sister to hit, I think she has to turn 40 before they can get this inheritance. So basically they're waiting for her to hit this age that their father had deemed in their will was when they would get their inheritance, and they're all relying on it for a variety of reasons. And one of the brothers is like a complete mess and gets in car accidents and harms other people. Like right from the offset, he's like completely unlikable. But this book, I didn't totally hate. I did find it somewhat boring and kind of not pointless, because I'm sure there's like lessons involved, but like kind of pointless. I gave it 3 stars because it wasn't horrible. It didn't do anything horribly wrong, in my opinion. And like, I didn't totally hate reading it, but this is not something that I would ever read again. If you notice, I don't have these books to show you. I have decluttered and unhauled all of these books because all of them, spoiler, were not worth keeping. The next book I read for this was Life and Death by Stephenie Meyer. It currently has a 3.42 rating on Goodreads, and I gave it a 2-star. This was such a pointless book. It made me so angry. This came out for the 10th anniversary of Twilight, I think it was. And I remember being really excited for it. I remember ordering this while I was in college and then never touching it. And then when I read it for this video, I was like, what the fuck was that? It's gender-bent Twilight. She basically switches every gender in the book except for Charlie. And it's just pointless and stupid. And I know Stephenie Meyer was trying to make this point that, you know, Bella isn't this damsel in distress, that this would happen even if Bella was a boy, and blah, blah, blah. I hated it. And it might just be because I can now see the problems in Twilight and why Twilight is not the best book ever written and stuff like that. But I still have that nostalgia to it, which means I still enjoy the Twilight books. I actually still own this book. I'm not gonna go get it, but I do still own this book because if you flip it over, it's the first Twilight, and I just kept it instead of keeping a copy of Twilight and a copy of this. Looking back, I should have just kept a copy of Twilight, but this book didn't need to exist. It's kind of how I feel about Cursed Child from Harry Potter. It just didn't need to be written. It didn't need to be published. It didn't need to happen. They have my money. I can do nothing about it now. And I own it. This huge chunky book that is half Twilight, half gender-bent Twilight. But yeah, no, it's a waste of time. And I just really, I didn't like it. So the next book I read for this video, and the last book I actually finished, was Before I Let Go by Marika. This book, I actually kind of, by the time I read this book, had pretty much forgotten that it was in this video. I just kind of read it because it was on my shelves and I was at my parents' house and didn't have anything to read, and it was here. So I read it. I finished this book last month, like in February. It has an average rating of a 3.3 on Goodreads, and I gave it 2 stars. I just don't understand. It is a book about a girl who used to live in Alaska and has since moved away, and she is going back because her best friend, who she was supposed to come and visit soon anyway, has apparently committed suicide. That's like a weird theme in these books. So she goes back and she kind of starts to like sniff around because while the town is a lot like she remembers, there are some key differences, especially when it comes to how the town views and treats the memory of her best friend, that is really super suspicious and fishy. There are some parts in this book that I was just like, what the fuck is going on and why? Why is that happening? Like, it's just, it's like this tiny town in Alaska thinks they are completely outside of the law, and there are some like magical elements to it, which I wasn't expecting. And so when they came in, I was just kind of like, and that is a pet peeve of mine when I think I'm just going to be reading like completely realistic fiction and elements of that start getting brought in, especially in like contemporaries. It's a lot of why I didn't like Wink Poppy Midnight, because it's just like, one second you're thinking, okay, this could all really happen, and then the next second you're like, huh? No, it's just not my thing. So that's one part of why I didn't like this book. But a lot of it is just like the treatment of mental illness and a lot of other things is just like so messed up and wrong, and the things that these people do that they think it's okay is just crazy, and I just was like, no, no thanks. I also read her other book, This Is Where It Ends. Didn't like that one either. So yeah, 2 stars. Not my favorite. Would not recommend. So the last book that I was supposed to read for this video This is The Casual Vacancy by J.K. Rowling. I just haven't. I did start it. I think I read like the first 50 pages, and I didn't find them so incredibly boring per se. It's just not what I've been in the mood for at all, and I don't even know if there is a proper mood to be in when you read this book. So yeah, this has not been read yet, which is where we start and begin the revamp of this video, where I will be reading a new set of the lowest rated books on my Goodreads TBR, and I'm gonna start, maybe not start, I don't know, we'll see. I need to just get it over with and read this book. The first book that I will have to be reading is The Casual Vacancy by J.K. Rowling. Let's check its rating, shall we? This book currently has a 3.3 on Goodreads. Do I know anybody who's read it? No. Good. I'm gonna be super honest and say I don't remember at all what this book is about. I'm getting a flash of a young boy riding a school bus. Yeah, that's I think all I remember, which isn't a plot point at all. So that's gonna be interesting. Comment down below if you actually liked this book, because I've just not heard good things. But I like feel obligated to read it. I don't know why, but I'm gonna read it. This thing is so long too. How long are you? Oh, you're almost 500 pages. Great. Great. So The Casual Vacancy is the least rated book on my Goodreads TBR. The next one has a 3.49 Goodreads rating, and it is The One Memory of Flora Banks by Emily Barr. I bought this a few summers ago, and don't remember what it's about. I believe it's just about a girl who has memory loss and needs to figure some stuff. I have no idea. And I'm kind of happy I don't know, because I feel like if I learn more about this book, I may not want to read it. So we're gonna keep the mystery there. Let's see if I know anybody who's read this one. The only person I know who has read this gave it a 2 stars, so you know, we'll see. Next up, with a 3.55 average rating, is Landline by Rainbow Rowell. I was kind of surprised by this, just because I read Eleanor and Park and I read Attachments by Rainbow Rowell, and I enjoyed both of them. Eleanor and Park more than Attachments. I've not read Fangirl, it's on my list, but I believe this has to do with time travel. And I've been kind of into time travel recently, so I'm not like unexcited to read this. But yeah, I'm pretty sure it's about a phone that makes some woman time travel. I don't like knowing things about the books I'm about to read, which is what makes me kind of hopeless. But I'm intrigued to see why people don't like this. Okay, the only person I know that has read this gave it a 3.5 stars, so we'll see. The next book has a 3.59 average rating, and it is We All Looked Up by Tommy Wallach. I believe this has to do with a shooting star or a comet that is going to land. They said the asteroid would be here in 2 months. That gave us 2 months to leave our labels behind. Okay, so there's going to be an asteroid that's going to hit Earth, and they have 2 months to live, basically, is what I gather from this. It's an interesting premise. We'll see. I'm not sure if this is the best book to be reading right now, but we'll give it a go. Let me see if I know anybody who's read this. The only person I know gave it a 3 star. Okay. We'll see. I mean, I'm not expecting to not enjoy it, but I can't say I'm still very excited about it. And last up is a book that is actually at my apartment, but that is Vanishing Girls by Lauren Oliver, and that has a 3.59 on Goodreads as well. I'm not sure what this is about. I'm pretty sure it's a YA mystery thriller. Lauren Oliver's books don't have the best reputation as far as plot twist goes, so we'll see. Let's see if anybody... Only person I know that read it has a 2.75, gave it a 2.75, so we'll see what I think of this book. I feel like it's going to be a lot like Suicide Notes and Beautiful Girls, where I'm just going to be like, that wouldn't happen, but okay. we will see. So thank you so much for watching this video. I'm really excited to be back on BookTube and reading and posting, just because when I stopped posting, it was because I got into a severe reading slump and really had nothing to talk about on BookTube anymore. Now I've read like 24, 25 books already this year. I'm not doing anything else, so we can do this together. Yeah, so comment down below, tell me how you're coping, how things are doing, because I know it's a really rough time. But yes, thank you guys so much for watching. Comment, like, subscribe, all the normal stuff, and I'll see you guys again super soon. Bye.